If you had a race that you really enjoyed, which one would that be? Or were there
Damn.
too many of them?
Oh, a lot of them that I enjoyed. Anytime you win, you enjoy.
Yeah.
But Western States in San Diego was really a good one, because that was 1990. That was the only year that I traveled and did what was necessary. I was at all the warm-up races. And I was the fastest car at the Nats that year, bar none. Nobody had anything for me. I ended up fourth. The only time I ever made the main, because it's the only time I ever did the homework.
Okay.
And I had everybody covered. I've run the bad set of lanes, and Mike Swiss has not run the bad set of lanes. And every one of the bottom 3 lanes were the good 3 lanes, where you could pick up 5 laps of heat. Guaranteed. It was automatic. It was 5 laps. Coming down to those last 3 lanes, I'm 5 laps behind Mike. Now he's got to go run 3 of them where he's going to lose 5 every heat. So I'm in the driver's seat, except for PA. I shouldn't say that. PA kept me from winning the Nats that year. He was not making the hill. This was a purple mile. I must have hit him 20 times. And then of course, then somebody runs into me. Well, now I'm still in second, going into the last heat. But I can't win the race now. But I'm still in second place. But my pit crew doesn't notice that on one of the many times that somebody ran into the back of me, the diaplane cut half of my tire off. So my left rear tire, my gear side tire, is half gone. So now I can't punch through that area, and I'm crippled. So I go from second to fourth, which was my best finish ever at the Nats. A lot of times, I died in the A Consi because I was not a good qualifier, because I don't know, I just never was. I never practiced it, because you got to glue the track up to practice qualifying, and I never had a track where I could do that. So I was not a good qualifier. I'd have to race my way in. And so many times I've got more laps in the A Consi than any other, but I don't make the move up because I finish third and they don't take the top 2. It depends on what Consi, it depends on what heat you're in, the way they were doing the races then. So it's just, my bad luck, me for not being a good qualifier. But you got to have a track that you can glue up to practice qualifying. So not having that, I was never a really good qualifier. I'd qualify at race speed. My qualifying speed is what I'm going to be running. So that one year was the year I did the homework. And my race motors were in the box. And guys were saying, Jesus, Fred, don't you run, you're gonna kill your race motors. And I go, those are beaters. The race motors are in the box. And the purple crew was lined up waiting with their hands out if I didn't make the main. Everybody wanted my motors if I didn't make the main. Well, me and Laster were the only ones to make the main off of the bad set of lanes. Because those bad set, you lost. Well, we were fast enough on the bad set to make the move up. And, like I said, nobody had anything for me. Swiss said, if nothing happens to Fred, he's going to win. And Swiss won. Yeah. Oops. At the warm-up race, the second warm-up race, Pfeiffer wins it. At about 5 heats, I've got 15, 20 laps on Pfeiffer. He's going nowhere. My pit crew changed motors, had the spring rubbing up against the axle, and I crashed into, I don't know who I crashed into John. We both went on the floor, put my car back on, it don't run. The spring collapsed when the shock you know, because it's rubbing on the axle. Now we got to make a power on motor change. So, oops, from a sure win in the second warm-up race, oops, 4th place, Pfeiffer wins. Pfeiffer wasn't fast at all. But like, you know, the first time I was nowhere. I learned a lot, rejected a lot of motors, rejected bodies, rejected chassis. I knew the second race, I knew what I had to run. I had ballistic motors. And then when the Nats came around, I knew what tires to run. I knew what body I was running. The race car was in the box. And the race motors were in the box. And I was running a beater car around and was as fast as anybody. And it ended up 4th place.
Yeah, we're jinxed a little bit.
Yeah, I was jinxed. I have a bullseye. I have had a bullseye for 25 years. Just people get me from 4 or 5 lanes away. You know, I even went to the point where I had my body painter paint bullseyes on my bodies. Yeah, I mean, why not? Here I am, you're always hitting me anyway. You know, let's put a bullseye on the car. It didn't help, they still hit me. So, you know, just, I don't know. My paint jobs now probably are a bullseye because it's white with a purple stripe down the middle. I'm gonna start putting it on the nose. Maybe they'll shoot for the nose of the car instead of the middle of it. I get caught up in wrecks a lot. Some of it, probably a good deal of it, is probably because my reflexes aren't what they were. You know, at 67, they're not what they were at 25, 26, 35. They're just not. But I find myself, the closing rate, because I'm still going pretty fast on new people, because in NorCal, we have 4 different driver classes running all together. So the computer draw determines how my race goes. If I'm on the track with good people, then I don't have a problem. If I'm on the track with a bunch of hacks, man, I get killed. Just, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you can't go down the straightaway afraid that this guy that's 3 lanes inside of you ain't gonna make it. You gotta dive in, because if I don't, I know the guys that I'm racing against are going to be doing it. So I dive in and here he comes. If I back off early and let him go, then the guy inside of me runs into me. So you can't win. So you just go for it. And if you get plowed, you get plowed. But
playing your chances.
Yeah, I have a history of getting hit a lot. You know, but that's not where the crash nickname comes from. That was from the two wrecks that almost killed me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm still having fun. My new wife of 17 years doesn't complain. She goes, I'm not going to try and change you.
You are what you are.
No, I am what I am. You know, we're not even going to get, if you think you're going to change me, we're stopping right now, because this is what I do. You know, I can't help it. This is it. This is me. If you don't like it, then we've had fun. But we're getting serious now, and you know, you got to accept this. This is what I do. You know, I'm a competitor. I can't help it. So, you know, it's just.
But I mean, what you've been doing in the last